Ryan asked, do you believe in a 6-day creation? Yes, Ryan, I do. I wrote a book called The First 6 Days. I published that in 2007. It's been a while. So I published that in 2007. The First 6 Days, you can get it on Amazon or in my store, douglashamp.com/store. The First 6 Days. And I argue that God created in 6 literal days. I base that on the linguistic evidence of the word yom, that the word day in Hebrew always refers to a literal revolution of the earth around its axis. All right. And now, in most cases, that is in fact a 24-hour period. We have maybe a couple exceptions when Joshua had his long day, so that clearly was not a regular 24-hour day. We have the thing with Hezekiah, and the sundial went back. Was it 10 degrees or 15 degrees? And so obviously something interesting happened there. So those were, two clear exceptions. And then we have in Habakkuk chapter 3 a reference to how the earth is going to stand still for a bit, probably because God is going to be fighting against hybrid creatures at that point. And so other than those 3 examples, every other day was a literal 24-hour day as far as I can see. Now, again, I find it very interesting that what science is uncovering is that there was a beginning to the universe. This is called the Big Bang. And as Christians, it's not something that we should fear, but it's something we should try to understand. All right? It doesn't mean that I agree necessarily with all their numbers, but they actually did find, and they proved that there had to be a beginning to the universe before the discovery of the so-called Big Bang. Many scientists believed, so we're talking like pre-Einstein, they believed that the universe was eternal. It was called a static universe, and it had always existed. There was no beginning to the universe. And then Edwin Hubble is looking through his telescope. He's seeing that light is having this red shift, which means that it's moving away. And it's like the Doppler effect, that when you hear an ambulance coming at you, you hear the woo, and then it goes past you and go ooh, right? That's called the Doppler effect. We have the same principle that happens with light, that as it gets pushed toward us, it shifts blue. When it's being pulled away from us, it's shifted red. And so he simply said, okay, if it's moving away from me, that means that, years ago, it must have been expanding. And so taking that evidence, um, after that, they theorized, okay, there had to be a beginning to the universe. It's pretty exciting stuff. Now, there's also a theory that goes along with that I find very encouraging, and that's called the cosmic inflation. And it is the principle that the universe is expanding, and it did expand, and it is still currently expanding, but initially it expanded at an incredibly fast rate, many, many, many times faster than the speed of light. Now, what I find exciting about that, and keep in mind that even with just your basic cosmic expansion, that scientists believe that the universe is expanding at a rate faster than the speed of light. Okay, so let's think about this for a moment. What that would suggest is that the light, the furthest that we can grasp, which is about 15 billion light years away, in order for that light to travel from there to here would take 15 billion light years, 15 billion years, right? It's traveling at the speed of light. But that doesn't mean that it took 15 billion years for the light and those universes, or those galaxies and the star clusters, to get out there. Why? Because the universe itself is expanding. That's what's so amazing. And it's expanding at a rate faster than the speed of light. And so what that means, that coupled with the super fast cosmic inflation that happened when the universe was very young, that it happened at magnitudes faster than the speed of light, that it wouldn't actually take billions of years for this universe to come around. That's what's so amazing. But looking at it with our current clocks and what we think we know about it, then sure, we would make these assumptions that everything would take, millions and billions of years for all this to happen. But with cosmic expansion and cosmic inflation, it could have happened at a much, much, much faster rate, and the light could still get out there, which today, to travel even at the speed of light, would take 15 billion light years to get there. So pretty cool stuff when we start looking at it. And I actually think that if we could just marry these two, I wish I had time to put this into another book, but if we could marry these two ideas, I think that we would see that there is no discrepancy between the chronologies that are given in the Bible and the best astrophysics that we know about today. So, great question.